Intensive treatment.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Intensive Treatment, where we talk about all things Arkham. It is Marvel and Swifty back again, bringing you another podcast episode. We got a
Yes.
good one, and it's been a while, so forgive us, but life happens. It's been super busy for me, but we do hope that you have been having a wonderful time locked up in the asylum, waiting for your doctors to return. And we're back, and we're going to talk about the Arkham timeline today.
Yes.
A highly debated topic, if I do say so myself, because there's so much crap out there about what's canon, what's not, what happened first. Um, who was Robin when, Robin was supposedly macking Batgirl's cheeks? We don't know, but we do know because we're here to uncover that truth for you guys
Yes, we're here
and
to talk
girls.
about the timeline and how much of a confusing mess it became. Literally the next game in that
Yeah.
timeline. But so in actuality, that we've actually recorded this episode before, but
Yeah.
something happened on Swifty's end, so we lost 3 episodes that we
Yeah.
re-recorded, and then it
It
was a
was a sad
while.
day.
Yeah, it was a sad day because we had a great conversation that night
Yeah,
when
we
we did
did.
the last time we talked about the timeline, but and yeah, I was sad to see it go. But we're back now, and we haven't made an episode of the podcast in a while. I want to say the last one that we released was the Lego episode, but I may be wrong. That one was like end of last year, so
Yeah.
it's been a hot minute. I'm hoping that we can get back to doing podcasts and just kind of bullshit around with everybody like we always do. So
That'd be great.
we've been doing pretty good as of the last couple days because we did a stream and then we just finished recording the penitentiary playthrough for Origins. So
Yeah,
I think we're doing good right now. So
I agree.
but yeah, let's get into the discussion and the idea is that we're just gonna go through the timeline in release order and just talk about how wrong it all got
So
the
quickly.
next game of games over. So all right, so Arkham Asylum, perfect video game. Perfect
Perfect video
Batman game.
game and a
Every
and a
There's nothing
very
wrong about it.
easy timeline to follow.
Yes. Yeah.
Everything's kinda set right out for you in the character bios, in the Arkham tapes, everything's right there.
Yeah. This is a Batman who's been around for quite some time. Has
Yeah.
been like even just looking by like his age, you could probably say he's been Batman for at least 15 years, close to. At
Yeah,
least that was my
I would
impression anyway.
I would say for me, it might have been a little less than that, but not by much, like, definitely over a decade.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can tell by the way he's talking to Joker and all these villains, and even, Commissioner Gordon, like, there's history there, layered history.
Lots of history there.
I think too the vibe that I get, and you can tell me how you feel about this. I think when I play Asylum, Rocksteady is visually with, vocal cues and subtle little hints that this is sort of an amalgamation of all of Batman's history, wrapped in one game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Like they expect you to be like, yeah, you watched the animated series. Yeah, you watched the Michael Keaton movies. Yeah, you watched Justice League. Like you're familiar with the timeline of Batman and his mythos.
Yeah,
So,
there's a piece of Batman for everybody, like for their particular version of Batman. Like there's some stuff like you mentioned from the 89 movie, from the animated series. Some people like they're there for people to grasp onto and be like, "Hey, yeah, I do remember that." And the fact that it's like kind of bled into this new game, like it's pretty cool. Like it's pretty
mhm.
great. So,
So I think
but
I
yeah,
think that's a testament to Marvel's sort of like around 15 years is probably what it sits at because they want to give you this like immersion feel of yeah, like you're Batman, like you are Batman. This guy's been here for a while.
like we're in prime Batman era for sure. Like
Yeah.
this is Bruce in his prime dealing with all these
Yeah.
villains that he's probably fought like dozens of times over the course of however long he's been Batman.
Right. And we know by the time we hit Arkham Knight, which obviously the timeline gets a little skewed by then, but we know that Batman's in his early 40s. So,
Yeah. Yeah, at the very least, I would say early to mid, like 40, because he looks a bit older than he does in the others, which of course he would, and also they
Right,
didn't know that they were gonna have a full franchise to deal with,
right.
so but, yeah, just everything about Asylum is perfect. It's a beautiful game.
Mhm.
There's no flaws, even with Titan Joker, which is so
Even with
stupid, but I
Titan
love
Joker.
it.
Me too.
I love it so much, but yeah. There's a lot of great stuff in that first game. Like even just for not even just for video game fans, for Batman fans, like for of all types, movies, TV
Mhm.
shows, comic books, lots of great stuff to attach yourself with. And so in that game they had a setup for what the next game would become,
Right.
which is great. They have one of the greatest Easter eggs ever, one of the most
Oh,
hidden Easter eggs ever.
how
And there's
long did
also
it take
some
for someone to find that? I forget how
a
long it
year,
was.
a year, and
That's
they nobody
crazy.
and the funniest part is that Rocksteady told them that nobody actually found it on their own. It was so well
Mhm.
hidden that the devs had to tell people where the fuck this thing was.
Right.
So, but yeah, so we had an idea of like we had some sort of idea anyway about what the next game would go into, which was
Yeah.
not Arkham Asylum 2.
No.
It would become Arkham City, and Rocksteady was back. We got Paul Dini, we got Kevin and Mark in the room, and already right off the bat, as soon as you start the game, there's a few inconsistencies with the
Yeah.
last game. The biggest one I think is the relationship of Hugo and Batman,
Mhm.
because it feels like, or at least from my understanding, the beginning of City, it feels like they've never interacted prior to that game.
Right, and, um, it's it's a topic that I feel like nobody really thinks about because by the time you get to Arkham City, you're like, "Oh, what character bio is in Asylum? No, well, that was like the first game, whatever." Like that didn't
Mhm.
really happen. But that was the game that set up the canon. Let's not forget.
That's yeah,
So, I mean, every we even know this. Everything in the entire series hinges off of the events of Asylum. So,
yes.
um, it's if you're going to take all that into account, you have to take the other stuff into account.
Yeah, like even for like the interview tapes, which for one of those characters, there's going to be a huge disconnect, which we'll talk about
Very
later,
big.
but very huge, like very, very, very huge. But yeah, but yeah, but something like that though, where it's just like I can see why they do that, but also too, I remember being like, he already like as a kid, I'm just like, he already knows this guy. There's a
Right.
bio and everything. Like there's something there. But then as I got older and I actually like got more into the story, it's just like, yeah, it feels like they haven't done anything in this
No.
universe, which is strange, but ha, pun intended.
Strange.
Yeah, no, sorry, that just kind of came out there, but
Oh no. That's what we're here for.
yeah, my horrible jokes, all you fans are just itching
They're
to
better than
see.
Caden's. They're better than Caden's jokes by a
Well,
long
that's
shot.
only because he's a racist. So, but yeah, I'm trying to think of another one. Do you have one from City, which, like, as far as timeline inconsistencies, that jumps right at you? Like, is
Mhm.
at the top of your head?
Jumps right at me.
Do you,
Well, mm, I think I think Hugo, but I also think that Batman's overall connection to the League of Assassins and Ra's al Ghul feels very strange. I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but he and maybe it's because they never explain it, but when he's talking to Mr. Freeze for the first time about Ra's al Ghul, he says, "Well, Ra's al Ghul's dead, but I have to go wake him up." So,
yeah,
when did Ra's al Ghul die? Because Ra's al Ghul is dead in Arkham Asylum too. And
yeah,
also, why is he in the asylum in the first place?
that's
I mean,
that's
obviously,
yeah.
it's just an Easter egg, so I don't think they expected to make him the main villain of the sequel, but
No,
um still, it's like, why is he in the asylum? And if he's dead now, does that mean Batman's played this cat and mouse game with him a bunch of times before? Like he just dies from something and he comes back all the time? Because when we see it, it seems like the Lazarus Pit is very scarce. It's like only in Arkham City. Um, I don't know. It just feels very like out of place to me when I look at that.
The
Um,
weirdest part about that for me is that, well, for one thing, he is, like you said, he is in the asylum and he also disappears after a certain point in the asylum. So
mhm.
either the ninjas just came and took him from there, or like he somehow, between the events of those games, he came back to life and then died again or something.
Right. Because he looks totally decrepit at the beginning of your first meeting in City.
Yeah.
So like how if he was resurrected in Asylum, how the hell how long was he, like did he how long was he even alive for?
Yeah.
Cuz he looks like he's been alive for 600 years.
And it's been at least a year between those
Yeah,
between
about.
both games. So
Yeah.
the confusing part for me is that Batman discovers what Lazarus is in Arkham City. He had
Right. I
no
don't
idea what it was
understand this.
beforehand.
Right.
I never understood that decision. Like, it's just like when he's talking to Freeze about him, and he's just like, "Yeah, he claims to be over 600 years old, which means something is keeping him alive." It's just like you should already know. Like, you've had who knows how many battles. You've met this guy, like you've dealt with this guy tons of times. It feels like, and you had no idea how he came back from the dead at
Yeah, but
all.
you know what else doesn't make sense in that entire plot line is Batman literally says to Mr. Freeze, "I have to go wake him up," as if he knows there's a way to wake him up.
Yeah.
So, what else would it be other than a Lazarus pit?
Also, another thing too is that Ra's has no idea who Batman is. Like
Mhm.
underneath the cowl.
Right.
It's like, dude, he literally fucked your daughter. You don't know who the hell he is.
Yeah. Like he probably got your ass pregnant, girl, and you ain't telling him who the grandfather is? You didn't tell him who the grandson was
No.
or the baby daddy? Come on.
If she ever had that baby, which,
Yeah, we don't know.
yeah,
Well,
we don't know.
apparently they were gonna make a game about it, so maybe she did.
Maybe she did, but it's probably for the better they didn't, because that game
Yeah,
is looks
that
like a
shit
pile of
looks
shit.
ass.
So, yeah. Yeah, Damian Wayne as Batman Beyond. What a stupid idea.
Horrible idea.
I hate
But
it.
I don't know, I think that those are definitely the big 2. I think as well, it's weird that 2 of the biggest jump out moments of destroying the canon is the 2 main villains
Mhm.
of arguably what's considered the best game in the series. So it's weird that it's the biggest deviations of timeline are the 2 things that everybody loves about those games. And nobody pays
Yeah.
attention to it. I don't hear anyone talking about that ever. Maybe it's
Well, I
because
guess
people have this like veil over Arkham because they don't want to believe that there's inconsistencies in such a perfect game series. But,
right.
even the greatest things have flaws. And, you know, we've talked about this so many times before about how, like, Ra's al Ghul's reveal at the end of the game sort of doesn't really feel that deserving. And it just is feels kind of like a cop out. It's not the best twist, in my opinion, or your opinion.
It's just
Um,
out of nowhere. It's just
yeah,
completely out of nowhere.
there's just no buildup. You meet Ra's once for 5 minutes and he's gone, and that's it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just think it shows that this game, particularly City, has a lot more um, deviations than people think about. But yeah, so
Yeah, too.
that would be my pick is Ra's al Ghul's connection to all of this.
Oh, another thing I just thought of too was Hush and how,
Oh well, yeah, that's
yeah.
something that is so
But that's just
annoying.
yeah, it's a minor thing, but it's just like, yeah, these it's weird when you see certain characters later on. It's just like, yeah, they had bios, they had all this, and it seemed pretty clear cut that like the biographies are from that universe. like what was
Yeah,
written out was for the villains in that universe, but
right.
yeah,
And I mean, to even go deeper, it's not even just the bios. It's like it's it's like I don't know. Let's just say Hush for example. He has a whole ass bulletin board in the asylum dedicated to him and his schedule. Like obviously Thomas Elliot worked there, which technically Thomas Elliot working there doesn't break canon. Um,
yeah,
but you know, he's not registered as Thomas Elliot in your bio. He's registered as Hush.
as Hush, yeah,
So it it just feels like they were for as meticulous and great at, storytelling as Rocksteady is, they missed some major little plot points that they probably wouldn't have missed if they had done it with a little bit more perspective later on in their careers.
yeah,
I think what
yeah, for sure.
happened is they just jumped the gun with like, okay, we just got Game of the Year and we have to make a sequel that's better than the greatest Batman game ever made thus far.
How do we do that?
So how do we do that? And probably what happened is they did the best they could and scrounged up all the information. Like, okay, what's the main plot points from Asylum that we can't break? Okay, now let's go into the sequel. And they kind of just wrote that City really is the lore writing game, if we think about it. Because
Yes,
all the rest of the lore is based on City for the most part.
yeah, like even at night, like there's barely any connective thread to Asylum aside from the one Mad Hatter like bit in the
Right.
end of his side mission. But yeah, you're right. It's all city. So
That was actually always my main problem with the Arkham games. Is that as brilliant and perfect as Asylum is, it feels like they almost sidestepped it and pushed it away after Arkham City came out, and it feels like sort of like a distant memory by the time you get to Arkham Knight. Like, oh yeah, that's right, that game existed. Like, huh, that was a pretty good game, wasn't it?
yeah,
And it's almost like Asylum, and we've talked about this too before. Asylum can exist in its own little universe. Like sometimes I play Asylum and I'm not playing Asylum as the first game in the Arkham trilogy. I'm just playing Asylum as that game.
that's yeah.
And I think it works both ways, but I think it sometimes works better as a solo game when you think of it in your head that way.
Yeah, I feel that. That's kind of like how I feel with the Insomniac games where it's just like
Mm,
sure, like you have Miles, you have Spider-Man 2 to kind of continue the story and build upon what they're doing, but also the 2018 game could have just been like a great just a solo game and just they didn't really
yeah,
do like they didn't need to do anything afterwards. But yeah.
right.
But yeah, I feel that with Asylum. And I just hate that the only thing I hate about Asylum, like, when it comes to the trilogy is, like, it doesn't really feel like a trilogy at all.
No, it
Like, it's
doesn't.
just it's just you have Asylum, they continue on with it a little bit in City with Joker being sick from the Titan, like, the Titan poisoning and whatnot.
Hmm.
He dies, and then the final game, like, there's barely any reference to Titan whatsoever, and the fact that, like, these other Jokers are made, not, not because of the Titan specifically, but because of Joker's infected blood, which that doesn't make sense at all, but, that's a whole other discussion for another day, but, yeah, it's just weird how much they kind of neglect Asylum when it is the starting point, and, everything should draw
Yeah.
from Asylum, so
Hmm.
yeah, there's barely any across the entire trilogy, there's barely any connective thread through that trilogy. So,
Yeah, and it's strange. Um, because most people will probably disagree and be like, no, it feels very connected. And I think if they really sat down and played all three games in a row, um, Asylum just feels the most alienated in like this little corner. Um, and like you said, like you brought up Spider-Man, like yeah, like it feels. I would even argue Spider-Man feels more connected than than Asylum does to
It
like
is, yeah,
jump forward to Arkham Knight. It feels like a totally different, almost a totally different franchise.
yeah.
Um, um, I think the subtleties in Spider-Man is what helps it feel more connected. Like City took such a big leap with everything, and it was for the better. Everything was improved from Asylum,
That's true.
but
Yep.
you also lose some of that. Okay, well, we're easing you into the next chapter. It feels like this is a perfect way I could put it. It feels like City is the game they always wanted to make, and Asylum was just their way to get there.
That's a good way of looking at that for sure.
Um, so yeah, I mean, the timeline speaks for itself as well. And maybe you're viewing this video and you're like, well, those aren't big differences. Go back and play it with the mindset of these three games are supposed to be connected. And then play City after Asylum and be like, let's look at the little changes. And it's the little things. It all
I would
adds up.
say, yeah, I would say just play the trilogy, like play all three games and see how much they like story wise, how much they connect to one another. Which by the time night rolls around, they barely connect at all. So
It's yeah. It almost feels like Asylum feels like Origins does to Arkham Knight. It's like they
it's
acknowledge it.
just a black sheep. Yeah.
Yeah, like they acknowledge it, but it's not. It's sort of like distant history that we don't really talk about.
Funny because even in Origins, they barely like. There's barely any allusion to Asylum. It's stuff that they're setting up for like City onward,
Right.
and they're just
Yeah.
referencing in Origins. Just like, yeah, don't do that. Like, reference the first game at the
Mhm.
very least. Which there's only maybe like two references to what's to come
Yeah.
for that, but yeah, it's strange, but
So as you guys can see, already we're not even far in, and there's so many little things that you can take and see how the timeline is already just a little skewed. It's just a little distorted.
and it's about to get even worse because we're going to talk
Oh
about
my god.
Origins now. We're going to talk about Origins now and how much that completely fucked everything up from the last
If
two
you
games.
think the points that we just talked about were bad, you're gonna think this is like White House Down, Channing Tatum and Jamie Foxx bad. Not that that movie's bad, but that amount of destruction.
There's so much of it; it's unreal. Like it's actually insane how much they fucked it. Let's start with the biggest offender, which is the gap of time between Asylum
Oh, great,
and
yeah.
Origins, which the devs made it very clear that this Origins happens 5 years before Asylum, which if you see
Come
all the
on.
shit that's going on, that doesn't make sense whatsoever. None of that makes sense at all.
5 years.
5 years. 5 years, and he's got a whole gallery of rogues. He's had at least two Robins that we're aware of, plus Batgirl, who's now Oracle.
Oh, we can't even get started on the Robins. That's a whole fucking
We'll
subsection of this
we'll
video.
save that for Arkham Knight because there's some stuff to say there.
There's so much Robin shit to talk about that
Even just Batman's like age, like they mentioned, it's just like, yeah, he's like a 25-year-old. He's really angry and he's doing this.
like he's
Yeah, 5 years
25,
later,
but
yeah,
he's in
he's 20.
Arkham Knight and he's 42?
Yeah,
Like what?
that don't make the math ain't math in there. WB Montreal.
And you know what? While we're recording, while you're talking, I'm gonna look up the official age timeline of
Okay,
how old Batman is in Origins and how old he is in Night. How
okay.
old is Batman
I think I'm pretty sure
in
it's at
Arkham
least like
Origins?
25. Yeah,
27.
27.
Yep,
Close enough.
27. So it's basically the same. It's within that 5-year gap before he's 30.
Yeah.
So, all right,
So he
now
should.
let's see.
So,
How
but
old is Batman in Arkham Knight? So wait, okay. So that means Arkham Knight takes place roughly 6.5 years later. He's roughly 38 to 40 years old in Arkham Knight, generally considered, but I would say he's more like 42.
yeah,
Just judging by timeline. So that means like, it means Origins never happened. It's a blip. And it's trying to explain it here in the timeline thing.
Well, I
It's
don't know how
it
they could make
says
that work, but
it says Arkham Origins, he's 27 to 30. Well, that's a pretty big difference. So which is it? Is he 27 or is he 30?
so it's 20, so it's either 27, 30, and the devs I distinctly remember them saying at least 25. So
Right.
yeah, there's that right there. That just none of that works. That's the 5 years doesn't work, especially when
And
it
even
has like
even if he's 30, it still doesn't explain the whole decade in between to Arkham
yeah,
Knight.
yes.
So we're already off to a bad start. So
Yeah,
okay, let's
there's a lot
let's
missing here.
let's go with the devs though. Let's say he's 25, which actually makes
20
their case worse.
25, 5 years later, he's 30 when Asylum happens, and he's had all this shit happen to him too, so
And
but
mind
yeah,
you, he doesn't look or sound 30 at all in Arkham
mm,
Asylum. He
no,
sounds close to 40.
and, like, yeah, probably, I would say, like, 38
Yeah,
at
he's
the
a
most.
mature older gentleman.
Yeah,
Okay, but yeah,
just
let's start this. We're already showing you guys that this is the worst timeline decision ever. They did not know what they were doing. They didn't study shit. Um, you know what I don't get too is WB Montreal had Rocksteady at their fingertips. They could have asked them, "Hey, how old is Batman in Arkham Knight so we know what age not to make him in our
they
prequel
had
game?"
them help them on the game. They had Rocksteady help them on the game. I don't know how they let this happen with
I
them
know,
basically just like they had fucking training wheels on being like, "Yeah, we'll help you a little bit with your side projects." Just like, how did all this go through without Rocksteady being like, "Yeah, that's not right. That's not right. That's especially not right there." So, uh just
but also why would they choose an origin game to be 5 years only before the first game entry?
right. Yeah.
When they know that, like, obviously they've played Asylum or know about Asylum to see that this is a mature Batman, and he's had his way around Gotham for many years now.
I'm glad
Why
that
would you
night
choose 5?
I'm glad that Knight fixed it a little bit, but it's still not that great. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's God, God, W Montreal, just Jesus. But yeah, let's talk about some timeline inconsistencies that are really bad in
Yeah.
uh, in Origins. I think the biggest offender for both of us is how Joker met Harley
Oh,
is
yeah.
probably what I would say. And, like, especially for you, I would say that's probably the thing that is like just the absolute worst. But
It's so bothersome.
yeah, they don't meet in Asylum now, they met in Blackgate, and,
This just
so
directly contradicts everything.
yeah, all those interview tapes you listen to in Asylum, fuck that, we're going with this now, and, there's nothing interesting about that they do with that at all.
No.
Like, he tells this whole thing, she laughs a little bit, and then it's just like, "Oh, you got a friend now, Harley? Mind if I call you Harley?" And then there's nothing after that. She pops up at least one more time, just being like, "Yeah, he's in the panopticon and he's waiting for you." Like, that's it. That's all
Yeah.
they do there. And we're supposed to believe like, yeah, she's supposed to become Harley Quinn and all this like, and it's 5 years before they take over the asylum.
Yep.
God, I'm trying to think of some other ones. Um,
Well, while you're doing that, I just wanna say too to everyone watching that
okay,
it really irritates me that Origins, being a prequel and a side game not made by the original developer, takes so many creative liberties with the future of the Arkham timeline. They're like, "Oh, um, Joker and Harley met at the asylum? We're just gonna we're gonna retcon that for you. We're gonna get
yeah,
rid of that, and we're just gonna write our own thing,
yeah,
even though we're
we're gonna
playing
do
with
our own take
fire."
on that. Yeah,
And, like, honestly, the original interview tape is a better origin story for them than the entire visual story that they give in Origins could ever
Yes.
be.
Yeah.
So, I'm literally reading through Reddit posts right now too about people trying to, like, explain away this plot hole and, um, how some people don't see it as a big deal, and I can't even believe it. How people can defend this shit. This trash. But yeah, so that's probably the biggest offender in Origins for me, when it comes to retconning things. Like, how could you? It's not even your call, people. Like, it's one thing if Rocksteady said that to you. Like, yeah, you can, yeah, why don't you retcon this? We didn't do it. We never got a chance to do it. Just do it. They were just like, nah, we're gonna retcon it.
Mhm.
But yeah, so go ahead. My bad.
Um, Another
Went on
one that
a
I thought
tangent.
of just kind of popped into my head was TN1 being a
Yeah,
thing and how that completely negates the research
Venom.
that Dr. Young did with
Yep.
Titan, since it's basically a precursor to it,
Right.
which, for one thing, like, did Bane make TN1?
Right. Where did it come from?
Where'd it come from? And also, if Dr. Young, like, is she basing her research off of, because she would have had to have learned of TN1 at some point. She
Right.
would have had to realize that was a thing, so, and TN1 is just like, it's just venom, like, it's just, that's all it is, it's just stronger venom, so that that whole thing, or that whole little side piece of plot, which is out of nowhere, like, it's out of nowhere, and it's only there for the sake of, like, letting Bane, like, lose his memory,
Right.
which was
Which
also dumb.
why even do that in the first
Yeah.
place? If
Oh, Jesus.
if you know it's like, you know what I mean? Why do that?
That's
It serves no purpose for him to know who Batman is and lose his memory if
yeah.
that's the outcome.
Yeah, like, the we talked about this in the penitentiary playthrough and in the streams too, it's just like, the only reason they did that was to just maintain continuity, because, but even then, it's just, why even go through all the effort of being like, "Oh, I learned who Batman is." Like, yeah, Bane, you learned who Batman's secret identity is, and at the very end, it's just like, "Yeah, so he just has amnesia now." And, yeah, what was the point?
I mean,
Uh,
why go through all those loops at all?
yeah, you went through the effort of writing that into the script, having them having the voice actors record the lines for that, having the mocap people, record the stunts and whatever else for that, and then you just did nothing with it. You did
Yeah,
nothing with like Bane learning Bruce's identity. You
and
did absolutely nothing.
obviously, I think what it comes down to is they just didn't have any they had no other story options. They were just like, "Okay, this is the direction we gotta go because we can't think of anything else. So we just gotta wipe Bane's memory."
I'm trying to think of some other ones in Origins that, I'm sure there's dozens of them as far as timeline inconsistencies, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I'm having a hard pressed time trying to remember
Well,
them.
we can get Google up for this.
I guess, yeah, and I guess while we're here, we should talk about Blackgate too,
Yes.
which has some which has some issues of its own. For
Yeah.
one thing, for one thing, it's like, it's set 3 months after Origins,
Mhm.
which, sure, is fine. And then, like, you have this stupid ass plot about Batman breaking into Blackgate, and, like, with Catwoman there and all this shit happening, some riot goes out of place,
Mm.
and for starters, why would you hire Catwoman when you could have just hired Deathstroke? That's my big takeaway from that game. It's
Yeah.
like, sure, you got the cat burglar who got her ass beat by Batman on a rooftop, but you have Slade in your payroll, like, you have him as part of Task Force X, so why didn't you just send him in to do the deed or
Right.
whatever? But, um, another thing too is that they try to give an explanation for how Black Mask looks in City with one of his ending cutscenes,
Mhm.
and at well, they fucked that all up at night, but, ugh, I just Blackgate is such a nothing burger of a fucking game. Like, I'd still
Yeah.
play it over Origins any day of the week, anytime,
Would
but
you?
yeah, it is yeah, absolutely, I would. Fuck Origins, I hate that
Yeah.
game so much.
Oh, yeah, we know what you did to we know what you did to that.
I don't know if they've seen that yet. I don't know if I've
That's why I
released it
left it
yet, but
ambiguous.
yeah, okay. Okay, good.
You guys will see.
You'll
In the
guys you'll
finale
see.
of the penitentiary playthroughs of Arkham Origins, you'll see
You'll
what I'm
you
talking about.
guys will see what happens with that, but it's good. It's
Okay,
funny.
so I'm on Arkham Wiki, or yeah, Arkham Wiki, and
Okay.
there's actually some I didn't even think about. So for one, there's geographical changes. So direct quote.
Oh,
For instance,
ooh,
the
yes.
Gotham Casino in Arkham City has a road between it and the GCPD. However, in
Yes.
Origins, it is right beside it, and the GCPD is a train station. Which I did know, but I just didn't think about it for this video.
Mhm.
Um, and every time I play that game, I'm like, this is weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, we've talked about this one before. Um, the grapnel boost. The grapnel boost.
Yes.
What a stupid thing that could have been avoided by just not putting it there. And I mean, yeah, does it make it easier? For sure, but why did you make a
Yeah.
500,000-foot bridge in between the islands?
That's true. Yeah.
Like, it
Like,
serves no purpose.
literally, like, there's no reason for it to be there. We already have the fast travel. That's, like, a good way of getting around for
Right,
sure, but, like, the only reason they put it in the game was because it was just easier to, play the game with.
right.
Like, but the part about that pisses me off is that they gave it a different name. Like, they
Yeah,
went out of their way to give it a different name. It's the grapnel accelerator now,
right,
and it serves the exact same function, and then when you go to City, it's a prototype in that game, and he needs training to know how to use it.
right. That part is the part that pissed me off more than actually it being in the game.
Yeah.
I'm like, they give you a whole reason as to why he's using it in Arkham City.
Yes.
He's never used it before.
Yeah.
Another one that I didn't think about is, quote, detective vision is much more advanced than the one used in Asylum and City, able to
That's
reconstruct crime scenes, and with it some form of holograms. Also, it already differentiated armed enemies in orange instead of the red used in Asylum. Great point. And if we remember correctly, people, Batman actually has to calibrate his cowl in Arkham Asylum to see armed henchmen. So this is not something that he did before.
no. Yeah, that's
And I
true. I didn't
mean,
even think about that.
it
Well,
just goes
I
to show
didn't think
that,
about it for story. I knew why it was like that in the game because
yeah, for
you're
sure.
trying to save every penny they can. But
Right,
yeah, that's a
absolutely.
good point. That's a good point there.
Um, let's see, smoke pellets. That's another one. I have thought about that before. They did not exist in Arkham Asylum. At least he didn't use them. Um,
Yeah, he didn't bring them in Asylum, which I don't know why he wouldn't. But
right. I mean, then again, I will say that doesn't mean that smoke pellets didn't exist. It just means that you don't use them.
yeah,
So,
like yeah,
because
they you can make
when
a
I
case for
think
them just being just being a tool that he's always had.
Yeah,
But it's
because, like, when I think of Arkham or when I think of any Batman, smoke pellets have been there since the beginning. He's been using
yes,
smoke pellets for decades, so that was never really
even in
fucked
his
with.
first appearance, I'm pretty sure that he had
I
fucking
think you're
smoke
right.
pellets and
I think
yeah.
you're right.
So
The next one, advanced remotely controlled batarangs. Um, that's one I didn't think of. even though I've noticed it when playing. I didn't think to have been.
Wait, what was it again?
Remote control batarangs being so advanced in Arkham
Oh,
Origins.
no. Yeah.
And they're literally a heaping pile of shit in Arkham Asylum. Um, and then the final one is a firearm disruptor. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, all solid. Um, Solid. Okay, here's some that I didn't think about. Guys, it's so funny. This has turned into us reading Arkham Wiki continuity
Mhm.
errors, but it's a good way to do it. Okay, so this one I didn't think of. Black Mask's hair is black during Origins. However, in Arkham City, you can see that he has brown hair. This should be impossible, as
It's
his
yeah.
mask was physically fused to his skull by the events of Arkham City.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Um, okay, right. They go into the how Joker and Harley met. And it's actually
Which, yeah,
really long.
it is wrong. The whole thing is just it's dumb. It's bullshit. But
Okay,
yeah,
so
like
this.
the
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the whole thing about the gadgets and shit, like it's just it's stuff that I've never thought about first, like for the story of like why is crap a cryptographic sequencer and stuff is just the same as it was in City and not just a squiggly line and whatnot. But
Mhm.
it's we obviously know why that is the case, but I'm surprised that somebody actually wrote it out on a wiki list. But anyway, you go ahead. What were you about to talk about?
So this page actually brings up a good point, which I know that it's not exactly how the original games were intended to be, but apparently it says the continuity error of Joker and Harley meeting at Blackgate and not the Asylum is partially addressed in a Batman Arkham Shadow. In one of the audio tapes, Harley Quinn and Joker pretend they are meeting for the first time, with Harley implying that this is a recurring scenario Joker enjoys to play with, which would explain their dialogue in Arkham Asylum. So that actually is a good way to retcon the retcon. But what I was going to say, funnily enough, is that's actually how I thought. That's what I thought was going on before Arkham Shadow. I was like, well, maybe they just like did it because they knew the tapes were rolling and stuff, and they were just acting like they met for the first time. Uh, so that was in my head how I reconciled that shitty ass retcon, and I didn't know that that happened in Shadow.
Yeah, but that's that's weird because it implies that they've been doing it for years. They've been doing it for years. They're just reenacting the same thing. Like they moved from Blackgate to Arkham Asylum, reenacting that scenario in the interview tapes.
Yeah,
Which
and
I don't really see why Joker would like. I don't see Joker being somebody who would do that.
right,
But yeah,
but also,
that's weird as
but
fuck.
even also, we would know if they met or not because even if we didn't know, the staff at Arkham and Blackgate would know because doctors have to sign papers for
Yes,
everything.
everything needs to be gone through. So like interview
So
tapes,
so
written
other
notes, that
people
kind of thing. So
knew that she met Joker many times.
yeah,
And especially at packed facilities like that, you're not going to sneak into the Joker's room. That's just not going to happen. It's the Joker. He's probably being guarded 24/7,
yeah,
especially Arkham Joker.
yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, one more thing for Blackgate, I forgot
Oh
about.
yeah.
They have the wrong
Yeah.
Batwing in that game. In the cutscenes, they show the Asylum Batwing when we
Wait,
know
in what game?
in Blackgate.
Oh, oh.
Because there's a scene where he calls the Batwing to get like a I think it's like a view of the map, how it looks like or whatever, and it's just the Asylum Batwing.
Yeah.
There's not really much in that game to like that's contradicted by anything that I
Yeah.
remember. I'm sure once we get to the penitentiary playthrough, it'd be I could probably like we could probably piece it out as we watch it, but um yeah. So should we talk about Arkham Knight now?
Yeah, and if
Okay.
how things could get worse is beyond me, but they get
Well,
worse.
let's start with Jason Todd, which is just a
Great.
character that came out of fucking nowhere and maybe got two references prior in the last couple games. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't even a name drop too. It was just like Joker being like, "Didn't I kill you already?"
Uh,
Yeah, now he's here and he was Robin for a period of time. We're not sure how long he was Robin for, but
mhm.
it didn't seem like it was very long.
Right.
And then Tim Drake showed up, who is like I can never figure out how old Tim Drake was in the Arkham games because it makes it seem like in City he seems like early to like mid 20s, like he seems young, and then there might have been something in the bio saying that like he was a teacher or something. I don't
Yeah.
remember, but so at least in Night he seems a little older, but yeah, Tim Drake is just an anomaly in those games. But yeah, Jason Todd
Yeah.
is here and he dies, quote unquote, by Joker, and then he
Yeah.
comes in 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 the last game as the Arkham Knight, which is dumb. I'm not even going to say the comics count, like the comics and how he left the asylum and got all this stuff together.
Mhm.
Those aren't really canon, and so I'm not going to even touch that. Yeah, he dies, quote unquote. He comes back as the Arkham Knight, and it's just that. So for that 5 years, or now Rocksteady saying it's 10 years between Firefly, which that is something we'll talk about here in a little bit. He had Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson became Nightwing. He had Jason Todd. Jason Todd died, and then he had Tim Drake and Batgirl all in the span of like a few years. We're having a new 52 situation here. So,
Yeah.
and it doesn't work.
I
Also,
don't even know what to say.
Firefly is another thing where they had the one interaction in Origins, and then he comes back years later, which is I guess they said
Like,
now it's
why?
10 years. Yeah, it's just why?
Why are you here? Like, you didn't care about him all this whole past decade, and now you're just
Yeah,
deciding to come back on Halloween?
yeah, it's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna come back because Scarecrow told me to, and also just like, yeah, I could probably kick his ass now. It's
Yeah.
been so long, Batman. Oh God, Jesus. Also, like the whole thing about Rocksteady trying to fix that whole 5 year situation, they made it 10 years, or they rounded it up to 10 years, which that doesn't work either.
No, it doesn't
Because
at
like we
all.
said, he's 25, like 25 to 27 in Origins, and he's like over 40 by the time we get around to City and Night. So
Right.
where's the math there? Like
Right.
it's just there's it just it does, none of this works. None of this whole timeline just doesn't work at all. The only things that do work is the year between the asylum incident and the beginning of City, when
Yeah.
it's just like, oh yeah, which I guess also too like, would they have all those walls built in just a year? And the place has been open for at least a while, or I'm
Right.
assuming anyway. So maybe that doesn't work either. What is wrong with this whole series?
Dude, they stopped caring, it feels like almost. They're just like, "Yeah, we're just gonna throw this in now."
I know that they're trying to go for the BTAS thing where it's like it's in its own reality. Like it's in its own
Right.
space. We're not really sure what year it is, that kind of thing. But then once you start asking questions about like, yeah, this doesn't really make any sense.
Mhm.
And they're just like, don't give a shit. We're not gonna we're not gonna follow up on anything. It's just like, yeah. So Origins Batman, they have smartphones in that time,
Yeah,
and you cut to like 5, 10 years later, and they barely evolved at all.
right.
So yeah, it's strange. But
Yeah, like
does that
even
wikis does that wiki site have night on there too? I meant to ask, but
the stuff in Night is like so insignificant. It's like
yeah,
little
yeah.
like quotes. I can get it back up though. Arkham.
Yeah, if you wanna pull it up and just see, like, if
Yeah,
there's anything worth mentioning that
there we go.
that
Continuity
that I'm
errors.
forgetting about, but
Let's see. Arkham Knight. Arkham. Okay, Arkham Knight.
while you're
Oh,
looking through it, you go on with what you were saying.
oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you were about to say something
Oh,
before I
I was
cut you
gonna
off.
say the first one is actually an interesting point that I didn't think about. Arkham City Island slash North Gotham in Arkham Knight has been turned around 90 degrees, causing several errors in locations not being where they are supposed to be. For example, the steel mill is now on the opposite side of the island from the Pioneers Bridge, while the bridge used to be right next to it. In addition, one of the prison walls is now located between the courthouse and the museum. That's so weird. I wonder why they did that.
I'll have to look at that again, but I don't remember the map being flipped around, or at least parts of it moved, but
Yeah.
huh,
The
that's
next
interesting.
one. Well, actually, you say what you were gonna say first, and then I'll tell you
No,
this.
no, I didn't have anything
Oh,
else from
okay.
that. No, that's why I was just like, yeah, continue on with it. Say what you need to say
Say
there,
what you need
Bucko.
to say. Um, so the next one in Arkham City, Robin clearly states that there are 30 confirmed cases in Gotham General Hospital and 50 at Mercy Hospital for the Titan disease. However, in Arkham Knight, there are only 4 people who actually get infected with Joker's blood. So, what the hell happened to all the other people?
Well, they got cured. That's what happened. The only reason those 4 were there is because Batman literally said, "We missed them," which how
That's
the
right.
fuck did you miss them in the first place?
Yeah, so that actually
For
doesn't.
starters, like,
Yeah, you're Batman, bro.
none of this should have happened. The whole Joker disease thing, none of it should have happened.
Okay, this is another one. I haven't read this yet, but it seemed
Okay.
interesting. The differences between the Joker infection and the Titan disease are never made completely clear. The 4 people who got transfused with Joker's blood only show signs of the Joker infection, when they should be carrying the Titan disease as well. After both antidotes were destroyed, the Titan disease could only be cured with another sample of Ra's al Ghul's blood, who disappeared in between City and Night. So it's unlikely they could have been cured from it. Yeah, I mean, they should have had the Titan disease.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense why they wouldn't. It makes literally 0 sense.
There's no reason why they should have been turning into Jokers in the first place.
No, they should have
They
they
should have
should have
just
just gotten Titan disease.
that's exactly what it should have been. Because there's nothing special about Joker's blood by itself.
Right.
So I don't see how that goes from like them turning into Joker. Like I just there's n- the fucking guy his skin got bleached and his
Right.
hair turned green. That doesn't like when he took the
Right,
chemical bath,
that's
nothing
not his
happened to his
actual.
blood.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. He didn't become a different person when he went into the chemical bath.
No.
Um,
And
this
I don't
last
know
one
why
is
the
kind of.
Titan I don't know why the Titan mix would be doing fuck all besides like killing them.
Right.
So
The last one is
oh,
kind of a blah one, but it says after defeating the Arkham Knight in his headquarters, his helmet will duplicate. It will stay in the same place Batman fights him, while also appearing in the evidence locker room of the
that's
GCPD,
true.
both having
That's
the same
true.
crack.
That's
Like,
true.
that's why would they do that?
I don't know.
They could have just
That's
made it disappear in the
Yeah, they
place.
could have
Like
just
they collected it.
removed it from the Arkham Knight HQ. So
But yeah,
great
so that's it
continuity
for
skills.
that's it for Arkham. Um,
Yeah, and just
Yeah.
so the two biggest factors is Jason Todd being a character and also Joker, like having more than one Joker from Titan poisoning that they just missed. Which, by the way, it's just like none of that works on any level.
Right.
I don't know how Batman's still infected with it too. That's another thing nobody talks about that ever, where it's just like, yeah, he took the cure at the end of City. He was healed. He healed in like 5 seconds, which that doesn't work in real life, but whatever. It's a comic book, so who gives a shit?
Yeah.
And also, too, like he was cured. He was cured from whatever Joker did to him, which was not only Titan in the blood, but also was probably just a bad blood transfusion.
Hmm.
They might also been like not the same like blood type too, which I haven't seen many people talk about, but that's just a small thing. But yeah, he was cured, so I don't know why he's having like hallucinations and shit.
Yeah.
He mentioned something about Scarecrow fear toxin, but I don't remember any instance before the hallucination started of him getting gassed. Do you?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So nothing about Knight's plot works on any level. So
No, it doesn't.
uh fuck, where do we go from here? I guess we
I
could
don't
talk about
know.
Suicide Squad, but
Oh, great.
or we can mention Suicide Squad
Yeah, we
anyway.
can mention it. Yeah, that's this
So
shit show.
so that game takes place 5 years after Knight. He, the legend of Batman was over until it wasn't,
Right.
and now he's just a public figure
He's
as Bruce
Iron Man.
Wayne and Batman. Yeah, he's just Iron Man. And he's now with the Justice League, which he acts much differently with the Justice League than he does with his own fucking sidekicks. So, because he mentions in the hologram thing, it's just like, I thought I had to push my family away. No, bitch, you didn't have to do any of that shit. You just had to be a character or be a real person, which you just stopped being after Joker died. So,
Right.
oh god,
All right, so should we go over the elephant in the room for this game?
yes, bad.
Okay. I'll let you take this one.
All right, I actually know what you take this one.
Okay.
All right,
Deadpool is black. Yes, Deadpool.
yes,
He
yeah,
universe
Deadpool.
hopped. And Ryan Reynolds is now Rashad Reynolds. Backtrack. Woo.
No, you
Dead
mean
shot.
you mean Robert Downey Jr. is now a black dude?
Robert Downey Jr. is now um Deadpool. And he's
I'll read the
officially a
script. The
black man.
script reads me.
I'm script reads me.
So that okay.
So oh my gosh. Now I'm screwing it up. Deadshot is now a middle-aged black man.
Which I wouldn't have cared if they just
No.
never brought it up. But the fact that
They
they
retconned it.
they retconned it into the fact that the Deadshot that we met for 15 years was
Was
from
fake.
another universe. Yeah, he was fake. He was the fake Deadshot. He wasn't the real Deadshot. The real Deadshot was just somewhere. We don't know where the fuck
Yeah,
he
where
was.
was he?
Yeah, he's just
Like,
been gone for all this time, and this other dude just showed up out of nowhere, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm Deadshot,"
but you
and he did all
also
these jobs. He did all this shit, and it's just like,
let's just think
okay,
about this too. World's greatest detective, my ass.
yes, yeah,
You're gonna tell me you fought this Deadshot multiple times. He was your Deadshot. He was a black guy. And then all of a sudden, Floyd Lawton is this white dude with like a little Giuseppe mustache, an Italian looking mustache. Like I said Giuseppe mustache because he looks like a Giuseppe. He just looks like a little Italian pizza man in
I
Arkham
thought
City.
I thought French, but that's
Oh,
that's
no, that too. He looks like the guy from Eurotrip, the
he just
robot.
He just looks like a pedophile. It's
Yeah, he
not a
does.
good look for him.
He looks like a French pedophile. Um, so you're telling me Batman was just like, "Yeah, that's my guy. That's him. That's
Yeah,
Floyd
that's
Lawton."
my guy. Yeah.
Like,
But yeah,
it's never
they have the
like
same they have the same name. They have all the same moves, and nobody in that entire universe, Waller didn't even pick up on the fact that, like, yeah, there's just two of them, and one of them is a black dude.
right.
Yeah, I don't I don't get it at all. None of that.
Me neither. And, it was done because, obviously, Will Smith's
Yes.
Deadshot was they wanted to kind of, like, keep it in line with whatever was going on in the DC Cinematic Universe.
Which, if
But
you think about it, that's probably like that. But the game probably started development right around that time too. So, or at least on Rocksteady doing that. So
right.
that's what was current at that time.
Yeah. It's just crazy that the game got announced in 2020, and it didn't come out for another 4
4
years?
years. Yeah,
Absurd.
and they had been working on it since night, since they stopped working on night, or I guess I should say Arkham VR. But
But
yeah, they've been
also
working on this years.
let's just say the fake Deadshot, quote unquote, is the Deadshot in Arkham Origins.
Yeah,
So tell me how it's the fake Deadshot because he's been there
that's
since the beginning. His
That's
first
what I mean
meeting with
by
Deadshot.
that's what I meant by it's been 15 years, nobody's noticed
Right,
this at all. Like, where was the real Deadshot? That's what I
right.
wanna know.
There
What
was
was
no
he just
real Deadshot. He didn't even exist.
No.
Like the real Deadshot is the fake one. He was there
Yes.
since the fucking Origin game, people.
He's been there since the very beginning. And he's probably
Well,
done who
we get
knows
to
how
see
many
how it ends.
jobs prior to that too, so
Right.
he'd been around for a number of years, so yeah, there's just
You've been
it's
there
just
since the beginning.
why.
Deadshot.
It was one thing when it was, like, them tweeting, like, when they announced it, and it's just like, they made a tweet, and it's just like, "Oh, I was like, I killed that other fool pretending to be me." I'm just like, "Okay, yeah, that should have been it." But the fact that
Right.
they, like, went out of their way in the interview tapes and in the biographies being like, "Yeah, that white guy, he was the fake one and from an alternate universe, and he just somehow showed up here and just was Deadshot for all the major events prior to this."
Yeah, what do you how is that I just don't understand. There's no other way to put it. I don't get where the logic was. Just
Yeah.
leave it at where you left it.
Just retcon the fact that, like, he could have always been a black dude.
Right. They didn't need to make it this whole
That's the
thing.
easiest thing you could have done, and we would have been fine with it, or at the very least for me anyway, I wouldn't have cared,
Me
but,
neither.
like, it's it just could have been that, but
And I
you
still
went
don't
so
care
far.
that he's black. I think it's the dumbest like cop out of why
Yeah,
the reasoning they gave us.
yeah. It's just it's so strange. All of it is.
It doesn't have to be this like crazy like conspiracy theory. Oh my god, he was not the real Deadshot. It can just be like, yeah, he was always black. That's Deadshot.
It's like, yeah, it's just like we were saying earlier from Asylum to City, it's just like, yeah, like he never met Hugo before, or he never met Hush before. Like that's it. You could have just done that, but it's
Right.
like, yeah, we're just gonna write all this bullshit for nothing, basically. It's just
Mhm.
for like something in a menu. It's not even like in the story. It has no effect on the story whatsoever.
Right.
So, ugh, Jesus. I really hope that Rocksteady isn't making a. Well, I guess no, they're not making a Batman Beyond game. Well, something got debunked or whatever. So I just
Yeah,
hope
I don't
that's
think
not
that's
the
happening.
direction they're going in, because it's going to make this. We're going to have to do a part two if that were the case. So,
Yeah.
but but yeah, another thing too. The comics aren't canon. None of them are apparently. I guess maybe the Road to Arkham, the one that came out
I
for
was gonna
Asylum,
say
is
maybe those ones are, but
the ones that are written by Paul Dini and Alan Burnett are probably the only ones that are actually canon.
yes,
But
I agree.
everything else is just not.
Cooked,
Yeah,
cooked, Vic.
you're cooked.
I'm cooked.
Also, Assault on Arkham isn't canon whatsoever. So,
No, sadly.
which I was a little disappointed. Like when they announced Suicide Squad, I'm like, that's a little disappointing. But I
Yeah.
guess now it's just like I'd probably not like. I'd probably rather that not be canon
Mhm.
to this.
Yeah.
So
I like it that it's in its own
yeah,
little thing.
it's a fine movie, and whatever. But is there any games that? Oh, I guess Shadow. I guess we talked about Shadow, but that one is a weird anomaly where the devs did so much of their homework, more than WB Montreal did. Like, it's actually
Mhm.
kind of insane.
Yeah, they did an incredible job.
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that like major contradictions that like I'm mad about or like that I don't jive with.
Yeah, and I mean, even their homework goes so far as to like what I even said earlier. Like they actually made an effort to try and correct the sort of first meeting of Harley and Joker because they were
Yeah.
like, yeah, it kind of doesn't sit right. So we'll just like at least make a reasoning. Hopefully, it kind of eases the waters a little bit. And like the reasoning they gave, I can deal with it. I can deal with it. Even though it's not how I see the canon, I can deal with that
Yeah.
reason being official canon.
Yeah, like like Harvey Dent, his multiple personality disorder manifesting as Rat King before he's scarred. Like that's
Right.
kind of interesting to me.
Yeah.
And the fact that like when you listen to the interview tapes like in City and stuff, and he never mentions like anybody by name who did it. He always assumed that it was like somebody on Falcone's
Hmm.
payroll. But the
Right.
fact that it was actually Bruce Wayne who did it with the scarecrow thing, the juice that was acidic, like that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But I can't really like there's nothing else that like there's some minor ones, though, like the fact that we talked about this in one of our penitentiary parts, like the fact that Bird is just there and he has a completely different accent, but like who gives a shit about Bird? But
Yeah, like that's like a nothing.
yeah, yeah, and everything else, like there's so much respect for like Camouflage had so much respect for the games, all of them, and
Yeah.
for like what those games did. So the fact that we got that is pretty astounding. I figured when they announced Shadow, it's just like, yeah, we're just gonna do our thing. Like it's set in the Origins time frame, but we're not really gonna draw upon anything for that. Which for most of it is just kind of like they didn't. But there's a lot of like references and Easter eggs and all this stuff and connective threads to even Blackgate, which I was not expecting at all. Like they did their
Right.
fucking homework and it paid off too, I'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's only the future of the Arkham franchise. So who knows what they're doing next. I hope it's an Asylum remake. I don't want it to be Batman
So do
Beyond,
I.
not yet, but yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about before we end the video?
Um, I don't think there's anything else that's like pressing enough for me
Yeah.
to go over.
Yeah. All that we can say is that Arkham's timeline is a confusing mess. Like it's just there's so much of it that doesn't work. And
Actually, right after you finish this thought, I do have one more thing to say.
oh,
So whenever you're done,
the
let me know.
no, I just that was basically it. The timeline's a fucking shit show. But anyway, you go ahead. What you were gonna say?
So, so there is another lore thing going on here that I just read on a Reddit post,
Okay.
and it has to do with Harvey Dent's scarring. And this was 4 years ago, so obviously it was a while before Shadow came out.
Okay.
So the question of the Reddit post is, how did Harvey Dent canonically get his scarring in the Arkhamverse? This comment sums it up perfectly.
Joker flashed him, and upon realizing that Joker's penis is also Joker, made Harvey really scared. He fell sideways into conveniently placed acid and he became Two-Face. And then the response is, "This is so deep." Deep thoughts with deep. Yeah, so that's all. I just wanted to get that off my chest. It was actually Joker's penis that did it,
Yeah, that's
not
that's what
Jonathan
that's
Crane.
it. Yeah, that's what really did it. It wasn't Bruce Wayne, it wasn't Scarecrow, it was just Joker's dick.
Yeah.
That's an amazing note to end on. I love that.
Thank you,
Um,
Jonkler.
Thank you, Jonkler. But anyway, guys, that I think that's gonna be it for this episode of the podcast. So we'll see you guys for whenever we decide to record more podcast episodes. I hope it's soon because Jesus, if you guys have to wait like 8 months between episodes, we're probably not doing something right. So, but yeah. So I hope you all enjoy. Stay tuned for other videos and all kinds of stuff. We're releasing. We should have some penitentiary parts coming out here, and
Yep.
and yeah, maybe some more live streams too. But anyway, guys, have a good night. Thank you all so much for watching, and of course, stay locked up.